name's Tom Baker. I've been with the Olympic Project now for over 3 years. Started out just like yourselves, just came to an Olympic Project expedition, had an amazing time, and came back, as Derek always offers, and says, come on out, join us, and started to get involved in some of the research, the heavier research that we're doing when it comes to statistical analysis, and now we're starting to kind of dive into some other experiments that we're going to talk about now. So, who, by show of hands, went on the hike yesterday where we did the photo exercise trying to find it? Okay, awesome. All right, so we had a good time with that. I know I had a really good time with that. So I want to go through, but I'll be honest with you, it actually turned out a lot better than I thought it would. Meaning that we learned a lot more than just kind of tromping through the woods, trying to take pictures of a, Bigfoot representation. For me, I learned a lot on one side, and I hope you learned a lot on the other side. And we're going to go through some of those things now, and I've got some great pictures. And for those of you that sent in the pictures, thank you very much. Matt, can you do me a favor? There's a footprint on the stove that I left back there, the Tom sign. So thank you everyone for sending your pictures to me via text. I put as many in the presentation as I could. Some were repetitive, so I kept it to the best ones. And the person who, thank you sir, the person who takes the best photo, as judged by me, because I'm the judge, gets the foot that we cast this morning signed by Thomas. So I thought we'd have a little fun with that. All right? Okay, so without further ado.
Dermal ridges and all.
All right, so what did we try to do? We tried to figure out how difficult it was to take a picture or film a representation of Sasquatch. We had 15 Olympic Project members and guests, expedition guests, on this one hike. Of those 15, 10 had cameras ranging from high-end SLR cameras to GoPro type cameras, all the way down to iPhones or Android phones. Before we left, we let everybody know what we were doing, so everybody was made aware that this was the purpose of this hike, that you have your cameras ready and be aware and be looking. A little different than when you're just out there walking, looking for Sasquatch. We are all out there normally looking. We're also already always watching, but we're not really sure if we're ever going to see something. This group knew that they would see something and to have their cameras at the ready. All right, so me, I'm 6'2", 210 on a good day, dressed in full Sasquatch costume. I didn't have my boots, so you don't get the pads on the bottom. But I did have these boots on so I could run, and I did, for safety's sake, if anybody was trying to replicate this, I did wear my orange safety vest anytime I was not displaying myself to you. All right. So there was times at the end where the vest was hard to get on, and I would just swing it in front of me, around me. But this is dangerous. I mean, when you're walking through the woods wearing fur, it's probably not the smartest thing. So make sure you're being safe about it. All right, so the photo scenario is 300 yards, the first one, 300 yards. I was walking up a loggy road through a clear cut. The second one, I was 15 yards away, walked back and forth in front of the exit to a cave. The cave had an entrance, which was large, and an exit at the other end, which was small. And I walked back and forth, one evolution at the other end of the cave. The third one was I was 50 yards away, and I walked away from you when I heard you coming down the switchbacks. When you got to a certain point and I felt everyone was kind of available to take a picture, I stood up and I walked away from you. The fourth one, I stood upright off the trail about 20 yards away, and only a quarter of me, it was actually this side, was covered by a tree, and I stood there just very still waiting for you to see me. The fifth one was 20 yards away. I stood up upright off a trail. I was up on a hill with the sun behind me, silhouetting me. It was very easy for you guys to see me. You did, but it did create some problems. And then lastly, I was 25 yards away, crouching behind a tree, making like I was eating shrubs and ripping shrubs and things like that. But I was crouched. You could probably see about this much of me above the fallen tree. So, photo scenario one. This is where I was 300 yards away up on the clear cut. This was definitely the best opportunity for everyone to not only see me, but to take my picture. The cameras, what you'll see is they were unable to get a clear photo of me because of the distance. And when you have to zoom in that close, it starts to pixelate and you don't get a really good picture. The results, I think, are very compelling to the eye, and I heard even Derek come up on the radio and said that was really compelling. If you were there and you saw it, you probably felt that you saw a Sasquatch walking up that road. But when you look at the camera and when you look at the film, it's a Sasquatch. What we learned, this was great evidence for those who saw it, but it's inconclusive via photo.
So we were comparing it to the Patty film.
Yep.
How far away what were they when they filmed Patty?
What were they, about 30 yards?
Which time?
Patty?
Patty.
30, 40 yards?
They were much closer. Okay, that answers my question.
I don't remember exactly.
Yeah. 100 feet, 30 yards. Yep.
Okay, that's the difference. Okay.
Yep. So, yeah, much closer. So, here's the picture. This is the best one I could find. You can see there. You see the red arrow there, pointing to where I'm walking up the hill, and then that's about as zoomed in where you can still see any sort of shape whatsoever.
Circle that in yellow.
I'm not circling anything in yellow. If you circle something in yellow, we will not be friends. Okay, so that's that is that picture there. One thing I will say, just from my perspective, and you guys probably heard me say this, that doesn't look very steep, but with the mask on, I was dying in there. And I mean, it didn't take long for me to just like, I'm done. My heart was pounding out of my chest, and I ripped off the mask to try to get some fresh air. And that's only after me walking 60 yards.
For myself, I couldn't tell that you didn't have a mask on at that distance.
Okay,
I could-
interesting.
It actually looked like you were just looking back, but it was
Yeah.
tough to tell if you had a mask on or not.
Okay, all right, good to know.
The mask was darker.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's that scenario.
But it always amazes me how in the photographs, everything looks farther away than I remember seeing with my eyes.
Oh, that's absolutely a lesson that we learned, right? That's something that I was gonna bring up at the end, but we can certainly bring it up now. When you take a picture of something, unless you're in a zoom mode, it always looks further through the camera lens than it does when you're looking at it with the naked eye. Here's that picture expanded. It's the same picture. You can kind of see me huffing and puffing up the trail. All right, scenario 2. 15 yards, subject walks back and forth across the opening of the cave. What did we learn? Only those that were in the front of the line, that were in the cave, were able to take this picture. You had to have a very fast reaction time to get this picture because I was only in that entrance exit for maybe 3 seconds. Who has an iPhone or an Android phone? How long does it take to get that thing up and going before, right? I mean, I'm gone. Right? I mean, by the time you take it out, you turn it on, you go phone, and you try, it's gone, it's over. So that's something to remember. The result, I think this is pretty compelling evidence, but always think about what would this, you can put it online, you can do whatever you want, that means nothing, but when it comes up to actual scientific scrutiny, how would this picture that I'm about to show you hold up? What we learned, don't be surprised to be surprised, right? Always be ready. Animals will lay in wait until they feel threatened, and then they will bolt, right? You may get the subject in frame and not even know it. Who took the picture and sent me the picture of me in the cave? You did. Okay.
And didn't even see it.
Did you see it?
No,
Okay.
I just heard someone yell.
Okay, you heard someone yell, you took the picture, wait until you see this picture that she took, not even knowing that I'm in the frame.
Just taking a picture of the cave. And that was
Yeah,
it.
just taking a picture of the cave. Hold on one second, Thomas. If you want the photographic evidence, don't be last in line. Right?
Unless he's sneaking up behind you.
I got the picture of you in the cave coming down without the mask on and say, haha, you all missed me.
Right? Right? Okay, so now, she didn't know, and I'm sorry, your name again?
Donna.
Donna. Donna didn't know that I was in this picture. Right? So, here's the picture as it was sent to me, and here it is blown up. That could be pretty compelling evidence, I think.
So you're saying you were just taking pictures of the cave
Uh-huh.
and you didn't see it?
I did not see it.
Okay.
No.
We didn't know he was up there.
All right, scenario 3. Scenario 3 is where you're coming down out of the Fouts Rock House and you're doing switchbacks, and I wait till you get to the closest switchback, and then I stand up and walk away from you as you're above me, looking down. Due to the switchback nature of the trail, almost everybody had an opportunity to take a photo. Only the back of me could be seen walking away. Somebody has a video of it. I think it might be Thomas that I saw. It's not bad, but you can see this just brown object walking away. The results are compelling yet not conclusive. And what we learned, here's what I learned. And there's a lot of things that I learned playing the part of Sasquatch. I'm quiet, right? I'm sitting there, I'm waiting for you. I can hear you guys coming a mile away, right? I mean, thank you for the whoops, let me know you're coming. Good. But other than that, the talking, the chatter, it's like very disruptive in the forest. When you're in the forest and you hear birds and you hear, things, when you hear something human talking, it is, without question, out of the ordinary. So, something to think about. And then expect us to catch a subject that hears you walking away from you. So before you become a threat, they're going to try to exit the area. And I'm not talking about Sasquatch, I'm just talking about animals. Whenever I say anything about Bigfoot or Sasquatch, nothing is known. No one's an expert. So expect to catch a subject, whether it be an animal or whomever who hears you fleeing, or just continue to move silently and hope you get there. I do not have Thomas's video. I just couldn't get it onto the computer. Like I said, it is. You can see a brown mass on two legs walking away for maybe a second. That's about it. Photo scenario 4, 20 yards away. I stood up upright off the trail, hidden by the tree. I feel like I already talked about this one, but 12 of the 15 participants walked right past me. I was only 20 yards off the trail. I was hidden by the tree about a quarter of the way. Popped, not pooped, good. Subject popped out of the woods in front of the trailing 2 or 3 participants, which was James, Shelley, and Renee, I believe. I popped out in front of you guys. But no one got a picture of me, no one saw me, and that's at the point where someone said, "Man down." Thomas said, "Man down," and everybody stopped. I'm like, geez, if you guys had just kept walking, nobody would see me. And I stood there, maybe, from me to Matt Jones, and no one saw me. So I thought that was interesting. Results, no evidence taken. What we learned in objects which stands very still is very difficult to see, and humans can be distracted easily, so try to maintain your focus. And then, did we get any evidence? No. Okay. Photo scenario number 5, 20 yards, and this is the last one. 20 yards off the trail, I was standing upright. I'm sorry, this is not the last one, second to last one. Standing upright with the sun behind me, silhouetting me. I wasn't sure if anybody had gotten a picture of me yet, so I wanted to give you an opportunity to at least get a picture of me. So I kind of made this one as easy as I could with still being out in the woods. Only those in about the first half of the line got that opportunity. That's a good lesson for me to maybe wait next time around. Easy to see me, I think, and you'll see that with the picture that I'm about to show you. Easy to see me, but I was shadowed by the sun until I started walking down the hill, and then when the ground got behind me is when you could actually get a good picture. I think it's pretty compelling evidence when you see it. And what we learned is don't be at the end of the line again, and have your camera ready. We also learned that Sasquatch needs water. Right? You see the water bottle in my hand. So that's the picture. I was actually, at the beginning, I was standing up here with the sun behind me, and then when everybody started to, I saw all the cameras come out, I'm like, okay, I'm busted. So I started walking down the hill, and that's when the real good picture. So I got 3 pictures of this scenario. All of them were shadowed out. I probably should have put them in here. They were shadowed out. When I got down here is when we got the really good picture. Okay, so I thought we had one more. All right, the last one is of me crouched behind the fallen tree, and I was ripping salal and making like I was eating it. And one person I saw, they weren't able to send me the photo of it, but the one person that I saw of the picture of me, you couldn't, the me eating the salal was a perfect camouflage. I just looked like this blob behind some vegetation. Very difficult to see, and I was only maybe 30 yards away. So, I left this blank because I learned an absolute ton, and I have to tell you, I'll just give you my perspective, and then I'll open it up to the group, and then we'll get into the statistical analysis portion of this lecture. But what I learned is, I can hear you guys coming a mile away. I learned that if I stay very still, that you'll pass right by me. I learned that wearing, and this is going to sound weird, and I think when you listen to my next piece of lecture, you'll know I'm fairly data-driven. Wearing a furry suit in the forest is a very weird experience. I had my vest on, but as you were coming near, I'd take my vest off and I'd sit and I'd look, and I'm like, wow, I mean, is this what it feels like? I mean, you feel like the king of the jungle out there. It's just wild. So that was fun. I had a great time. Thank you for letting me do it, and I hope you learned something. What kind of things did you learn? Anything that I haven't brought up?
It was hard to look for a Sasquatch when you're, looking at the ground to
Yep.
not fall over something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think what it spoke mostly to is the fact that most encounters happen for people that are not out looking for Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were all hiking, looking for you, knowing you were gonna be there. We still had very limited success.
Yep.
If you're in the forest just hiking, Bigfoot's nowhere in your brain, there was no chance he would have been seen hardly, I don't think at all. But we were all specifically looking.
Yep.
So I think it just speaks to how hard it actually is.
Yeah, I agree. Thompson?
In the forest, in the shadows and everything, you blend in very well, especially when you're not moving. And cameras, especially the ones we have today, tend to focus in on the nearest objects,
Yeah.
and you don't get a good shot of what's beyond. I learned that today.
Yeah.
Also learned why I haven't been successful in so long.
Yeah.
I remember being told to always have your camera set, not use a phone, I guess, but to have a camera set on infinity.
In what?
On infinity, if you're ready, to be ready.
Makes sense. Yeah. Shelley?
When you were up on the ridge, how far away could you hear us from,
So I could hear you at the rock house. So I was probably a quarter mile away down the ridge. And I could hear you at the rock house. I couldn't make out the words. And then as you got probably within 200 yards, I could make out words. And then I felt like you were right, like, just as I was about to stand up, I got the feeling that you were right on top of me. I could hear every word, I could hear almost like you're breathing.
Just make note, most people were just having fun, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we weren't out there trying to be stealthful.
Oh, yeah, and that's something that I probably should have brought up. I mean, this is about fun, right? I mean,
Yeah,
we're trying to learn, but.
Like you said earlier, most groups are not, who get an encounter, aren't looking for sabotage. They would have been acting like we were acting,
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, nice tree. That kind of thing. Pretty.
Agreed.
So,
Yes?
well, what I think is really interesting having seen you guys do this is that what I have my sighting, one of the things people ask is, why don't you get a picture of it? And the thing is, as people saw today, often what they saw with you was very fleeting, or they didn't find you at all. But as long as it takes to take your cell phone out, it really requires you from any camera to take your focus away from what it is you're looking at. And if it's just a fleeting second or two, you don't have the opportunity to take your phone out because you either have to focus on what's happening
Yes.
or you have to focus on your cell phone. If you're looking at Sasquatch, you're not focused on your cell phone.
Great point. That is a really good point.
So, in your choice, you really have to choose, do I watch this as long as I can? Or do I focus on this and hopes that I might get a love squatch?
Right.
Because the reality is you're probably, even if you get your phone out in time, you're not gonna have a compelling enough photo
Yep.
to be able to have anything more than a log.
Yeah, totally agree. That's a great point. All right. Yeah.
One thing I was kind of amazed about is I could see you clearly with my naked eye, and those pictures didn't even do it justice in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
How many times you heard that before?
Yeah. I found that interesting. I'll tell you, it taught me to be a little bit more tolerant of things I see online.
Well, I don't think it changes the fact that, we all can clearly see you walking up the hill doing a really good job of leaning forward and swinging your hands and looking Sasquatch-like, but I think for a lot of us still, we might say, yes, I saw the Sasquatch, yes, I think I got a picture of it. It's a horrible picture. I mean, I guess you have to choose as a researcher. It's one thing to share it amongst your close friends, this is what happened, this is the picture, it's a blob squatch, it is what it is. But
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I don't
We
know.
were conditioned to know that it was human.
Yeah.
I wonder if it would make a difference.
Could be. That's a great question, don't I? All right, so I thought it was very, not only fun, but incredibly educational, on both sides of the exercise, being Sasquatch and also taking pictures of it. So I hope everybody had a good time. And something that I should have said at the very beginning is, you know, that's what this is about, right? We're out here having a good time, being amongst like-minded friends, getting educated, and going home with a little bit more